Good morning. We are extremely pleased that you're here. It is good to come together for the purpose of co-creating. Do you agree? Yes. You can feel your desire evolving. It's a good thing, isn't it? You are appreciating the contrast of your time and place that helps you to focus yourself into clarity about what you want. Would it be possible to know what you want if you did not have contrast? So do you think it's a good thing that you know what you want? Do you believe that when life helps you sort out what you want, that you have some power, in fact inevitable path to the unfolding of what you want? That's really what we want you to be able to say a resounding yes to sometime soon. Because when your life, whether it's up close and personal or whether it's out there, something that you're observing, something that's happening in your community or globally, when you are stimulated to a focused desire, a movement begins, a powerful movement begins, because your own inner being will back you up in your personal desires, each of you. So if you don't see yourself in competition with anyone else, because you are not, but you understand that it is simply that life will cause you to identify what you want, and once that is done, that law of attraction will begin the steady progression of the gathering of the cooperative components to assist you in the accomplishment of what you want. Once you understand that, then you remember what you knew when you decided to come into this physical body to begin with, because that really is how it is. You knew that you would be coming into variety and contrast, that from it you would personally be able to discern, come to your own conclusions and your own preferences. And you weren't worried about lining up with large numbers of others in agreement, because then you remembered, as you were coming into your physical body, you knew for sure that you have guidance within you that would help you find your way to your desires. And that's what you knew was important, because you understood that you are a creator, that's why you were coming into this leading edge environment of creation. You knew that this was not an earth environment of proving worthiness. You knew you were already worthy. And you knew that you weren't coming to fix things that were broken or to clean up a mess, because nothing is broken and nothing is a mess. You knew that you were coming to discern personally what you, creative genius you, would want to focus upon. And you knew that if you held true to your own desires, if you didn't complicate your own desires with worrying about the opposite of them, if you didn't complicate your own desires by worrying about what the desires of others were, if you mind your own business, you knew, and therefore you lined up your own thought, vibration, energy with your own desire, you knew there would be no gap in yourself. Now, how could there ever be a gap to begin with? Because you are an extension of source energy, and that knowledge and love and power of source came with you into this physical body. But you came with the free will, because you are a creator, to observe and to come to your own conclusions and to decide. As you sifted through the variety, you launched many incremental desires along the way. We've been calling them rockets of desire, because they shoot out of you vibrationally, and you usually are not even aware that it's happening, most humans. So as you are launching these rockets of desire, your inner being, who remains non-physically focused while you are here, your inner being recognizes the desire that you have given birth to, acknowledges the precision of it that you have carved out of what you've been living, and your inner being then gives undivided attention to this new and improved desire that you have given birth to. So the only way that there could ever be a split in your energy, a gap between you and you, is if while your inner being is giving undivided attention to the new and improved life experience that you have identified, if you are still focused upon the old news of currently what has been manifested, then you could cause a split. In other words, when you ask for something more and you're looking at what is before the more has been manifested, then you're causing a gap in your own vibration. You just cannot look at what is while you allow what you prefer to replace what is to come. The more attention you give to what is, the more you hold what is right there where what is. So vibrationally, you don't change. And if you don't change, then nothing in your experience changes. Today, we want to help you understand. We want you to walk out of this door today really remembering and knowing how this creative process works. We want you to understand and remember that this is a vibrational world in which you live, and law of attraction is the manager of these vibrations. And in the same way that you set your radio dial to a frequency and that's what you hear the broadcast of, you must set your own internal thought process radio dial to your own desires rather than to your maybe existing beliefs, because you've got to know that often your beliefs don't match your desires. If they did, you would not have an unfulfilled desire right now. If you believed what you desire, it would already be where you are standing. And we're not all that excited about getting you to stand exactly where you want to stand relative to every single thing that you want, because we know that these desires that are stretched out before you, as they unfold in your experience, not only is it delightful when they do unfold, not only is it delightful when you get to live what it is that you've been asking for, but it's delightful all along the way. And that's really what we want to call your attention to today. We want you to think about these thoughts turning to things. We want you to accept the vibrationalness of that which you all are. And we want you to accept that you have a vibration going on within you that you can, we love you so much, do a much better job of managing. You are causing complication within yourself when you contradict your own desire with your affirmation of what is. It would be so much better, you say, if things were like this instead of like this. So you just put a powerful momentum going that way toward what you want, and then you put a powerful momentum that way toward the opposite of what you want, and then you stand still in frustration. And the feeling of frustration is not because you're not getting what you want, although you think that's why it is. The feeling of frustration is the guidance feeling. It's the emotional guidance system feeling that is simply, powerfully and importantly, but simply indicating your split energy in what you want. You've split yourself up. I prefer this, but I've got that, and I'd like to see that, but I don't believe that'll ever happen. And more people want this and less people want that. In other words, you get yourself all balled up in this pushing against. And when you are pushing against what you don't want, that is not the path toward what you do want. Do you know what pushing against what you don't want is a path toward? More of what you don't want. There's a war against drugs, and a war against AIDS, and a war against cancer, and a war against teenage pregnancy, and a war against terrorism, and a war against, and a war against, and a war against, and every one of them getting bigger, because when you give your attention to something in this vibrational based universe, you become a vibrational match to it, and so you encourage it with your focus upon it. You carve out an individual and very important pathway to the cooperative components aligning to provide more of that, more of that, more of that, more of that. Do you believe in the existence of your inner being? Does it make sense to you that you were source energy before you came into this body, and that that larger part of you still is that? Your inner being knows all that you have so positively and joyfully come to the conclusion of. Your inner being stands as the holder of all good things, all things desired by you. And you didn't just start this desiring when you got here this time. You have been desiring for many, many lifetimes. You've created a vibrational reality that is the essence of who you are. And you said, I'll come into this physical experience. I'll come into this physical body. I'll learn the ways of this time and place. I'll come to my own personal conclusions, and I will find a way of following the guidance within me, because I know, you said, I know, you knew, you did know. We know you knew, but we know you now don't still know. And so we've come to remind you of what you knew then, but you don't know now, because if you don't know it now, then it can't benefit you now. You've got to line up with your desires. It's just that simple. You can't talk smack against yourself. And that's what you do every time you look at what is. If what is lacking something that you want, you just practice a vibration that holds it away. Not because it's not raining down upon you like blessings from heaven. It is, but because you've got your umbrella up, a really good, strong, steady one, and you're not going to let any of that stuff in. I'm asking, but I'm not letting it in, not right now, because martyrdom suits me for a little while. I want to be mad. I just want to be mad for a while, just for a little while, because I would so much rather be right than feel good. So once you get it, that you are the creator of your own reality, and that when you ask, it is given. When you ask, it is given, but you got to let in what's being given. And that's where the turning thoughts to things parts comes in. You've got to be in a vibrational place where you can be in what we've been calling the receptive mode. If you're not in the receptive mode of what's being given, then you're going to miss it. And you cannot be, we love you so much, you cannot be in the receptive mode of what you've asked for and what is being given to you while you are pointing out and focused upon the places that are still, from your point of view, lacking in your experience.